Okay, well, yes, sir. My name is Matt Varney. This is Rodney Farrell. I'm assistant principal at Belfry High School, and what we're going to discuss today is how we have revamped our PLCs and what we are doing to reduce failure rates and make our students more successful. Mr. Farrell teaches social studies in our school, and his department has really took this and run with it and made our school better and we have seen a great improvement in our students because of this, and I'm going to let him do most of the talking. He is going to go through the process, a quick version of how we do our PLCs within our with our team members. So, further ado, Rodney Farrell.
All right, so I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. It usually takes about 40 minutes to do one of these protocols. This one, try to do it in like 6 minutes, okay? So this is just their title slide. And what'll happen is, like, once a week we meet in our PLC and we'll come together and talk about a recent test that we've given. And this is one that I actually did, I think, in February. And up here on this slide, like, I have the title of my unit and then all the standards I taught. And then on the test, what questions correlate to that standard from the test. And then also you point out and you talk about the DOK of that standard, and you try to make sure your questions match that level of rigor that's required by the standard. Another focus that we have as a school is on literacy. So we always share some kind of content literacy strategy that we did throughout the unit. Sometimes, like me, I teach U.S. history by myself, so when we do a protocol, it'll just be my stuff up here, but whenever we do a world history protocol, there'll be 3 teachers up here, and we all share. Maybe we did a common reading strategy, or we did 3 different ones. It gives us some, insight to what our peers are doing and how that went for them. So on this slide, what we usually do is we'll pick out some questions that the kids may have not done so well on, and this is like our data from the test. And we'll go through, and as a group, even the teachers who are not teaching that content will look at those questions, and we all try to identify, was it a problem with the question, or the teacher who taught that, how did we teach it? What did we do? Why are kids messing up on this question? Could it be that we didn't teach that part to the rigor of the question that they're being asked? And these were like selected questions from this test that I gave. And all of this data comes from a program that we purchased this year called GradeCam, which we use to score all of our tests, and it gives us instant feedback on how the kids have done, like per item, but also you can compare per teacher, you can look at per standard, and it has like every standard imaginable already uploaded to the database. This is the standards proficiency, so how well the kids did on the individual standards. On this particular test, I had a standard that I reassessed from earlier in the year, where the kids had scored a 60%. They still didn't achieve what I wanted them to on it, but they had improved some. So you can see on each individual standard in that unit how well the kids did. This is where we get feedback from our kids. So like the day of the test, or usually the next day, we'll ask the kids to do a plus delta form, where on one side of their paper, they'll list all the things that they really enjoyed doing in this unit, or the things that helped them learn the most. And on the other side, what did they not enjoy, or what didn't go too well for them. And this is a great opportunity for us to get feedback. What is actually working with our kids? What do they enjoy doing in our classroom? And not all the time, they put Kahoot, 56 of them like playing a game in class. Well, of course, right? But it's something we can't do every single day. But then I can see, like, if you look at making political cartoons, the class was about half and half on either they liked it or they didn't. So maybe I need to go back and look at, okay, why are the kids saying they didn't like it? How did it go? And then this is really probably been the most powerful part of our protocol, is our student failure list. So after the test, and you've scored and you put in your grades, you update this list of what students are failing your class at this moment. It's not just which ones failed the test, but which ones are failing your class. And you named them, and you put their grades, and then like for me, I do like different colors mean different things. Like maybe I didn't get in contact with their parents. So you try to call every single parent of these kids that are failing. And then like the letter for mine, that's like the type of RTI that I have them doing at the time. And it's also an opportunity because you can get feedback from teachers who may have had that student in previous years, how did they work with them, what worked, but then also your principal who's in your meeting with you, they're seeing, maybe this kid needs some help from me, or maybe I need to try to target them and get them some support, not just in this class, because a lot of the times we've realized that kids on my list in social studies might be kids on the list in English. So maybe there's something we need to do as a school. And then the last part of the protocol is the teacher self-reflection, where you reflect back on the unit. What went well for you during the unit, what did you like that when you were teaching it, or your areas of growth. A lot of times I identify content gaps in my own content. What do I need to go back and look at, or what lessons did I feel like didn't go very well for me? So, you want to talk about this?
And how we tell that this has been effective is because, is like he said, the failure rate. Our failure rate in social studies, which I think is on the next slide, will show how the failure rate has dropped. Like we said right here, we focused on our PLC work results this year. We wanted to know what our students was learning, how we know each student has learned it, how we respond to when some students do not learn it, and how we can extend rich learning students who have demonstrated proficiency. Go ahead, next slide. Which I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but like right here it says our failure rate on our social study courses has decreased from 99 students last year to 55 students this year. That's still 55 too many, but we are dropping it and we are working with this, and we want to improve on this every year. Same thing with this, that was first semester. Second semester we had 110 last year, 55 this year. So we're seeing that improvement, and we feel that these PLCs and these focus on these students that are failing are improving this. So the information that we're getting has been very useful. And we are still working on our PLCs. We want to make those better each and every year. Actually, we've had a group look at it, and some of the other content areas. I know social studies is really stuck with this format, as our other areas have tweaked it a little bit, but it's very similar. Also, what we gathered from a lot of the research we got and the feedback and the data we have now, that we're still 33% of students that still need some type of additional help, and what we're doing with that is what we're planning with our intervention starting next year, and that's what we're looking at as far as that goes with our intervention programs for next year, that 33%. Other than that, that's our PLC, and we've improved it a lot, and we're still improving it. And that's all we have.